Luton, Rotherham and Stevenage are all projected to do poorly in the first season of Football Manager 2024. Luton are projected to finish in 19th, Rotherham are predicted to finish in 24th, and Stevenage are projected to finish in 17th. In this video, I'm going to look at a plug and play tactic and test it out with all three teams as we look to see if the tactic can help them all beat the drop. In today's video, I'm back with another tactic test. This time we are looking at Knap's Wheels of Fire 4-1-2-3-0. Yes, this is going to be a strikerless tactic. These have often been said to be overpowered in Football Manager games, certainly in the previous ones. Today I'm going to try them out with some teams who are not predicted to do very well in their leagues to see if they really are overpowered or not. As always, I'm going to break this tactic down and go through the positions, show you the in possession, the in transition and the out of possession. If you're already familiar with Knap and his work and maybe you've seen the tactic before and you just want to get on with it, there will be a link to the tactic in the description down below. Feel free to download it. All it costs you is just a hit of the subscribe button to help the channel out. And if you just want to see the results, you can skip past this section whilst I break this down. You can just go and see how the tactic performs. Right then, if you're ready, let's break this tactic down. Starting off at the back, you will have a sweeper keeper who is set to support. On the left, you'll have a wing back set to attack. Two ball playing defenders, one set to defend, one set to cover. And on the right hand side, another wing back set to attack. You'll then have a defensive midfielder set to support, a Mazzala set to attack, and a central midfielder set to attack. On the left, an advanced playmaker set to attack, a shadow striker set to attack, and on the right, an advanced playmaker set to attack. This tactic comes with a custom tiki-taka tactical style. Its mentality will be attacking. Its in possession will look like this. Its in transition will look like this. Its out of possession will look like this. So if you need any more information or you want to go back and pause the video so you can see any more of those instructions in more detail, feel free to do so. But if you're ready, we're going to jump on into the results section. So I've put this through its paces in a single season sim using Luton, Stevenage and Rotherham. Let's see what happens. So to kick off the results section, we are with Luton Town. Now, obviously, they are predicted to be relegated from the Premier League. And when we look at the Premier League, we find them in 13th place, well above the relegation zone. They have managed to get 44 points from 38 games. In the FA Cup, they were knocked out in the 4th round by Everton. In the Carabao Cup, they were knocked out in the 3rd round by Crystal Palace. If we break down that Premier League campaign in a bit more detail, we can see they played 38 times. They would win 12 games. They would draw 8. They would lose 18. And finish on a minus 19 goal difference. They would finish on 44 points. That means that they were 9 points behind Notts Forest, who finished in 8th, and they were 15 points behind Fulham, who finished in 7th. If we look at the squad to see how the goals and the assists were shared around, so Ross Barkley would be their top goal scorer with 17 goals. He would also get 5 assists. Then you had Mapanzu get 8 goals and 4 assists. Benny would get 6 goals and 3 assists. Chong, 6 goals and 5 assists. Further on down, there are also 5 assists for Nakamba and also 5 assists for Amari Bell. If we look at some of the data hub numbers to see how they got on across the season, so in terms of the team defending numbers, 1.74 conceded per game, XG conceded was 1.58, clean sheets 13, tackles won ratio 74.82, opposition passes per defensive action 4.14, possession won 3480, final third passes against per game 51.08, fouls made per game 14.85. 4. Looking at the attacking numbers, goals per game 1.24, non-penalty XG 1.27, shots per game 9.89, shots on target ratio 44.68, dribbles per game 12.95, cross completion 13.11, pass completion ratio 87.91, fouls against per game 12.24. There is a few other little bits of information on this screen. If you want to look at those, feel free to pause the video now, or we're going to move on to the next team. So just to round it up, we have got Luton finishing in 13th place. Their main target was to avoid relegation, so the tactic has worked for Luton. Moving on next, we are looking at Rotherham. We find Rotherham 7th place in the Sky Bet Championship, so another team that were forecast to be in a relegation battle have actually finished well up the table, finishing in 7th, getting 79 points from 46 games. In the FA Cup, they would be knocked out in the third round by Norwich. In the Carabao Cup, they would be knocked out in the quarter-finals by Middlesbrough. If we have a look at their Sky Bet Championship campaign then, just to break it down a little bit further, they would play 46 times, they would win 24 games, they would draw 7, lose 15 times, have a 20 goal difference and finish on 79 points. If we go into the squad to see how the goals and assists were shared around then, so Andre Green 16 goals and 5 assists, Sam Clucas 12 goals and 7 assists, you have Cafu with 7 goals and 5 assists. Further down, Cohen Bramall would get himself 17 assists from the left back position. You also have Arvin Apaya, who was on loan from Malaga, and he would chip in and be the top goal scorer with 19 goals and 6 assists. If we look at the data hub and look at some of the numbers in there then, so in terms of the defending, goals conceded per game 1.57, XG against per game 1.17, clean sheets 11, tackles won ratio 75.8, opposition passes per defensive action 4.13, possession won 4.219, final third passes per game 46.33, and fouls made per game 15.61. In terms of the attacking numbers, 2 goals per game, non-penalty XG is 1.67, shots per game is 12.11, shots on target ratio 45.42, dribbles per game 13.98, cross completion 14.75, pass completion ratio 88.38, and fouls against per game 13.46. So once again, if you want to have a look at any of the other information that is on this screen, feel free to pause the video at this point. So we have another team that has far outdone its predictions at the start of the season. Rotherham have managed to finish in 7th place. So moving on to the final round of results with Stevenage, we will get to Sky Bet League One in just a moment. Looking at the cup competitions though, the FA Cup, they were knocked out in the second round by Peterborough. In the Carabao Cup, they would be knocked out in the second round by Reading. And in the Football League Trophy, they would get through to the semi-finals but would lose to Mansfield Town. Looking at Sky Bet League One then to see how they have got on in terms of a league performance, we find them finishing in 5th place, another team to outperform their season predictions. They would get 75 points from 46 games. They would win 20 games, draw 15, they would lose 11, have a goal difference of 17, but they would finish on 75 points. That was 11 points though behind Peterborough, who would go up through the playoffs. If we look at the squad and look at the goals and assists, we can see that Jordan Roberts was top goal scorer with 22 goals and 4 assists. Harvey White would get 10 goals and 7 assists. Further down you would have Forster Kasky getting 11 assists, and even further down from there, Dan Butler from the left back position would get himself 8 assists. If we look at the data hub figures, just to show you some defending and attacking numbers, goals conceded per game 1.17, XG 1.12, clean sheets 16, tackles won ratio percentage 76.11, opposition passes per defensive action was 4.09, possession won 44.05, final third passes against per game is 40.98, fouls made per game 15.83. If we go into the attacking numbers to show you how they have got on there, 1.5 goals per game, 1.54 non-penalty XG per 90, shots per game 12.4, shots on target ratio is 41%, dribbles per game 13.38, cross completion 15.31, pass completion ratio 87.72, fouls made against 12.58. Once again, if you want to look at any more of the information on this screen, pause the video now. So then, it's actually worked out really well in terms of the teams that we have tested with. All of them were relegation candidates and all of them have survived. We had Luton finishing in 13th place. We have had 5th place finish here for Stevenage, and Rotherham also finishing just outside of the playoff positions in the Championship, means that they have all really outperformed what they were predicted at the start of the season. Right then, if you're still with me at this point of the video, firstly, a big thank you. Second, if you could hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel. Just hit the 3,000 subscriber mark and I really cannot thank you all enough for helping me to reach that goal of getting to 3,000. So here's to the next landmark of 4,000 as we slowly crawl our way towards that next objective. Before you go, don't forget there are other things on the channel: hints, tips, tutorials, let's plays, wonder kids, a little bit of something for everybody on the channel. But for this one, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for watching. See you on another video very soon.